Do you think that My Little Pony is just for kids? I'll show you 10 moments that will completely change the way that you see the cartoon. You will be amazed by how they hide them. Hey beautiful people, I'm Julie, and the battle between Twilight Sparkle and Tyrick was one of the most epic moments in My Little Pony. Twilight had the powers of the other princesses and faced Tyrick in a destructive fight, never seen before in the series. And if that wasn't enough already, Twilight's library is destroyed in the process, representing a deep emotional loss for her and for her fans too. And that traumatized a lot of kids back in the day. And guys, between us, look at the visuals of this battle. It's simply too intense, and honestly, they went really hard on the animation. Even so, Tyrick is really strong and powerful. I remember watching this battle for the first time and getting chills sitting on my sofa. Even Hasbro once said that this battle was one of the ugliest in the show, and that perhaps they exaggerated on it. If you take it out of context, it seems like an anime fight. There is also Luna's self-charging with a guilt and regret feeling since she came back from her nightmare moon form. She bears an emotional burden, always fighting against her self-charging, especially in the episode The Princess's Dream of Magic Sheep, where she faces her traumas and self-sabotage, something really complex for a kids show. Not to mention that she really materializes her fear into a giant dark horse. Imagine all the weight that she was carrying to literally create a monster like that. Poor Luna. And if you're also sorry for her in the first seasons, leave a like in this video. And in this new gen of My Little Pony, we see Discord living isolated and lonely and almost completely forgotten figure. The emotional weight and solitude and abandonment is dealt in a very subtle way, but a really impactful one, inviting the fans to reflect about the importance of social connections, even for such a chaotic and powerful creature like Discord. I already made a complete video about it, so don't forget to check it out after you finish this one. It's super worth it. There's also the racism against Zecora and the other species inside the cartoon, right? Zecora, for those who don't know, is a zebra from the other lands, and she is initially seen with suspicion and distrust by other ponies in Ponyville, simply for being different. And this situation reflects in real-world situations for discrimination and xenophobia that both kids and adults faces day by day, making this episode a lot deeper than what it seems at first sight. And this episode, in my opinion, is simply perfect. It talks about racism in a very simple way, but at the same time in a complex way. Every pony thinks that she is going to curse anyone that comes near her just by being a different species. And this isn't the only time that we see ponies being racist towards a different race. We see that actually the ponies end up closing themselves from everything different than in many situations. Friendship doesn't seem all that magic all of a sudden. In the two episodes, A Canterlot Wedding, Princess Cadence is kidnapped by Queen Chrysalis, and her identity is stolen. The wedding turns into a dark scenario where we see shining armor gradually weaken to maintain the barrier that protects the city. The betraying physical and emotional distress are very clear, especially when the villain appeared to be close to winning. And if we think about it, the fact that shining armor is loving someone that actually isn't how he thought it was, it's a really creepy for a kid's cartoon. And if we also throw in the fact that he didn't believe his own sister, we have a recipe for an episode that is clearly not meant for children. Starlight Glimmer and the Catastrophic universes also make into this list. In the episode Cutie Remark, Starlight Glimmer travels back in time and alters some important details, creating many dystopic versions of Equestria, where the main six never met. Each of those alternative futures is darker than the previous one, showing worlds ruled by tyrants like Sombra, Chrysalis, and others, revealing little actions devastating consequences. And this comes to show that our main six are important for the maintenance of this universe, and that without them, this colorful and cute world maybe wouldn't be that way. And if there's something that traumatized an entire generation was the last episode of the series, right? Where we see the main six really old, with Twilight taking up the role of Equestria's governor. This means that eventually Twilight will outlive her friends, which raises the of immortality and solitude dilemma that she might face in the future, and a fair goodbye to the fans that grew up along these characters. Now, to wrap everything up, here are 3 moments that also shown that My Little Pony has a darker and deeper side. In the My Little Pony movie, we are presented to the character Tempest Shadow, a pony with a tragic past. She suffered a serious accident that made her lose her horn, and since then, she has had a bitter life, away from everyone. Her story raises themes about acceptation, emotional pain, and how traumas can affect our actions. Themes that go beyond a simple juvenile narrative. In Tempest's case, she didn't get a group like Twilight did, and just met ponies that judge her for being different because of her broken horn. Another example like Sakura, where the friendship doesn't seem that magical anymore. Now, when it comes to our little dragon, if we really think about it, he sacrificed a lot for the ponies, more than once. The first one was an episode Crystal Empire, where Spike had a fundamental role to save the Empire by taking big risks, to guarantee that the Crystal Heart arrives in its destination. Although it seems like a common heroic act, what Spike does mirrors the hero burden and the cost that it's paid to protect the ones that we love. And that's coming from Spike, who has issues with acceptation, being a dragon living among ponies. And the second time was really in Twilight's Empire's fall. As we know, our Princess of Friendship had to put him to sleep, probably because even with the risk of his magic being stolen, he would for sure exchange his life for the sake of his friends. And still in the same 2-part episode of the Crystal Empire, Twilight Sparkle is sent in a mission by Celestia, where she needs to prove that she is ready to be a leader. And even though this is the first time in the show that we see Twilight really nervous about her future, it wasn't the last one. From there onward, we would see that she grew up and her responsibilities also grew. The poor one couldn't catch a break after she became a royal apprentice. And what about you? Do you think that My Little Pony is deeper than what it seems? If so, leave a comment down below. And don't forget to leave a like in this video and subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. Thanks a lot for watching until here, and hasta la vista!